What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Chair Shot Sports, a Driving to the Top production. I'm your man, John Anthony. Guys, what a week it was in wrestling. We had some awesome stuff from TNA, WWE, and a lot of stuff coming up. Money in the Bank, the Uncle Howdy debut. We also have the Forbidden Door coming up with AEW. So a lot of things to talk about. Let's just jump into it. Let's start out with TNA Against All Odds. Their pay-per-view was this past Friday. Great card, up and down. Some awesome matches. Obviously, one of the most important ones a lot of WWE people were watching was the Jordynne Grace Open Invitational for her TNA Knockouts Women's Championship. And of course, once that came time for that, Tatum Paxley, WWE NXT's own, answered the call, made her way into the Impact Arena, crossing the line. I gotta say, what a match from Paxley. Wow. I mean, she really showed up, showed out, put on an amazing match with Grace. Really, Grace did an amazing job of really telling a great story with Tatum. I know we don't really get to see her wrestle a lot on NXT. She's more of like a side character, interfering in matches, doing other stuff. But she was amazing in this match, and I really hope that Sean saw that, Ava saw that, and they really start to utilize her a little bit more moving forward. Again, she did great. Obviously, was not victorious. Jordynne Grace retained her TNA Women's Belt. But again, an amazing match, and I can almost guarantee you this is not the last we've seen of Jordynne Grace coming over to NXT, or any divas or women going over from NXT or WWE over to TNA. So that match was awesome. The main event of Against All Odds was Moose and Matt Hardy for the TNA World Championship. Awesome match. In a broken rules match. Wow. These guys went to town. Amazing match. I haven't seen something like this in like late 2000s in WWE. These guys broke the place up. It was awesome. Moose gets the win, the 1-2-3 over Matt. As if that wasn't enough, puts the boots to him. The system comes down. They start laying into him. And of course, at the end, we hear the all familiar music. Jeff Hardy has returned from AEW. He is now in TNA. He has crossed the line. He is back with a promotion he's been in numerous times before, looking great, looking in awesome shape. Gave us, ripped the shirt off, gave us a swanton off the top rope. That was awesome. It was great to see at the end. The Hardy family, and also Jeff standing there, obviously, right next to him. Awesome to see, and I don't think it's any kind of coincidence that obviously you have Jeff Hardy returning to TNA. TNA and WWE now have a working relationship, almost one of those understandings, I should say, where someone can come and go if it makes sense on either brand. I would love to see the Hardys debut on NXT. Obviously, I don't want them running up to I'm sure they're signed to TNA. Obviously, you have a working relationship, but I would love to see the Hardys in NXT. That would be amazing for some of the young talent down there, some of the young tag teams, to get some of that knowledge from them. And just to see Jeff Hardy in the WWE again would be amazing to see. So with that being said, that was on Friday. Saturday was over in Scotland. We had Clash at the Castle. Guys, what a great card. We started off with AJ and Cody in a great I Quit match. Mama Rhodes getting involved again. First she slapped the taste out of The Rock's mouth. Now she's knocking around AJ Styles. Love to see it. Love when she gets involved. That was a great match. Cody, of course, was going to take it to AJ handcuffed in the corner with the steel stairs. AJ quits. So Cody retains. Then, of course, we had Chad Gable challenging for the Intercontinental Championship. Another great match. Obviously, as we could see, Otis got involved in some way. Sammy was able to retain, which I think a lot of us knew was going to happen anyway. So that was awesome to see. And of course, one of the matches I'm going to hang my hat on, because when we talked about it last week with WrestleDads, Everyone was saying Jade and Bianca, Jade and Bianca. I saw it all over X. I saw it all over Instagram, everywhere on the internet. Everyone's talking that these two are going to retain. And I was like, nah. I don't know about that. There's no way all those Scots are going over to Clash of the Castle. Not one of them is going to win a belt, whether it be Drew, whether it be Piper, or the Unholy Alliance. Who ended up coming out on top? Who called it? Shot Sports did, baby. Unholy Alliance unseats Jade and Bianca for the women's tag team titles. Awesome match. I like the new format we're watching now with the 3 teams. 3 people can be at the ring at one time from each team. I like that. It keeps things going. It keeps a nice flow to the match. So that's awesome to see as well. Obviously, the match everyone wanted to see. Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. Great match. A lot of opportunities where Drew could have just taken the match. Kind of took his time, jibber-jabbering a little bit. Of course, at the end, the ref gets knocked out. Drew has Damian pinned for at least a 5-6 count. But before we get to the pin, a nasty moment where Priest was trying to go over the top rope and gets his leg entwined. Now, at first look at me, I thought that we were going to call the match. It looked like he pretty much, that leg, being suspended and hitting over the side of the apron. Definitely looked like something got torn or ripped, or definitely out of place. He kept going, finished the match. I mean, as Triple H said, adrenaline's a wonderful thing. Didn't seem fazed by it, was able to finish and retain. Speaking about the retain, ref gets knocked out. Down comes another ref. 1, 2. As he finished the count, camera turns around. CM Punk has thrown on a ref shirt, runs down to the main event, screws Drew again. Drew puts his hands on Punk. Punk gives him a low blow for his troubles. And after that, Priest is able to hit the South of Heaven, gets the 1, 2, 3. Great match. Very nicely done. Like we talked about last week, I knew Punk was getting involved. If you watched the product and you were looking online, you were watching the things Drew was putting out and all this other stuff, and even Punk being in the area, you had to have known Drew was not walking out of there with the World Heavyweight Championship. It just wasn't going to happen. It was not in the cards. And I think it was a good call. I, for one, can say that I am a person who does not appreciate all the chitter-chatter you hear about Damian Priest being a transitional champion, being someone who's just holding the belt for Gunther. At this point now, I mean, knowing Paul, he likes to do things that kind of buck the system and go against things that he hears online and things like that. I wouldn't be surprised if he puts Priest over Gunther at SummerSlam, and then they have a rematch again, and then Gunther wins it. Because, I mean, it's not fair to Damian. I mean, the guy held the Money in the Bank, strategically cashed it in at the right time, took it off of Drew. Again, Punk was not back 4 or 5 months ago. 6, 7 months ago. We're not even talking about this. So this is just amazing that Punk's even back and getting involved in Drew McIntyre's story. But I'm glad to see Damian's okay. As of this recording right now, from what I hear and from the 2 people we talked about inside WWE, there is no injury right now. There's no any kind of timetable for him to miss any time out of the ring. I would imagine he's not going to wrestle tonight. I'm sure he's a little banged up, a little sore. But if he is, definitely wishing Damian Priest, if he is hurt in any kind of way, a very speedy recovery. Hopefully not missing any other time. Not a lot of time out of the ring. So with that being said, talking about the main event and Punk screwing Drew, that actually garners the age-old question. Did Punk screw Drew or did Drew screw Drew? Now here you go. Let's go back all the way when go back to the Royal Rumble. Drew hits the Broken Dreams on Punk. Screws up his tricep. Punk comes out, hey, I can't do this. Drew comes out, says, hey, I prayed for this. I prayed for this to happen, and it happened to you. And Punk told him, he goes, well, if you pray for this, then guess what? I'm going to be a thorn in your side until I'm ready to get back in that ring. And he's done it. And he even said it yesterday at the press conference. And again, what is up with Phil bringing food to pressers? The guys I was watching with, I look over and I saw him bring the box out. I know it was in there. I'm like, oh man. I remember the last time what happened was time we brought muffins in Chicago when they did the presser. I was like, oh no, here we go. And he did. He kind of goes off the cuff, saying a couple things, talking about his injury, hoping he gets cleared today. Haven't heard anything, but he said he's not going to be on Raw. He will be on Friday Night SmackDown to talk about if it's a yay or nay with him being cleared going forward. But yeah, like he said, he goes, as long as I have air in my lungs and I'm, and we're on the same brand, he will never hold a title again in WWE as long as I'm here. Those are bold, bold words from Punk to Drew McIntyre. Hey, man, I mean, not for nothing. I mean, you wish that kind of stuff. You wish an injury on somebody, and you tell him you prayed for it, and he mocks him. He mocked him constantly on Insta, doing the tricep exercises, doing all kinds of stuff, doing the funeral of CM Punk's career, things like that. It's just, when you do that kind of stuff and you poke the bear, is it really CM Punk screwing Drew, or is Drew screwing Drew? Drew poked the bear and went to the well one too many times on CM Punk, and CM Punk has a history. This guy is not new to WWE, to the industry. I mean, he's been around AEW, everywhere, Ring of Honor. You instigate the guy, he's going to come for you, and he's going to cost you, and he's not going to stop. Drew could apologize all he wants. At this point, now it's just a foregone conclusion. Anytime Drew is anywhere near a belt or in a main event, he's got to look over his shoulder and make sure CM Punk is nowhere near the arena until he gets a 1-2-3 on somebody. So that's going to be interesting to see. I know a gentleman in the crowd, one of the journalists, asks if Hell in a Cell should be the first go for Drew and Punk. Hits him with the fantasy book and shit. I like that. They should definitely have a great match. And I don't think Hell in a Cell is really where it needs to go. From what I'm hearing, we talked about it last week. They're rekindling Bad Blood. They're going to bring that back as a pay-per-view. PLE in WWE to commemorate the first Hell in a Cell match. So Bad Blood should be coming back. And Bad Blood makes sense having a Drew McIntyre and a CM Punk match there. I wouldn't wait till SummerSlam. I would definitely do something in the end of July, or beginning of August, depending on where that pay-per-view will fall. Obviously, if it's after SummerSlam, I guess maybe you have the match there. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see. These two are definitely not done. I think it gets squashed out before Mania. I think you see Punk early prediction-wise. I think he's definitely going to be somewhere in the mix. Right now, he's kind of my pick right now to win the 2025 Battle Royal, but it's a little too predictable because I think he was supposed to win it this past year without the injury. So he's kind of like the predictable guy, or predictable pick, I should say. But he's definitely going to be a favorite to win it in 2025, Royal Rumble-wise. So with that being said, we're talking about that. You're talking about Drew. We're talking about CM Punk. There's a lot of other guys, too, that are in contention for not only the World Heavyweight Championship, but also the Undisputed title over on SmackDown, who Cody just defending against AJ Styles. And that line is long, too. You had Solo Sikoa come out looking like he wants to challenge Cody for that. Everyone comes out for the save. KO, Randy Orton. They caught Randy taking a look at the belt on Cody's shoulder. I like it. Obviously, Randy wants a piece as well. So I say all that to say that the next PLE that's going to be coming to you on Peacock from Toronto is going to be Money in the Bank in July. A lot of guys. LA Knight, Logan Paul, Bronson Reed, Jey Uso, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Karrion Kross. A lot of guys I'm sure they're going to be involved in these qualifying matches. All of them very deserving of the briefcase, that want their shot at getting gold whenever they can get it. And also on the women's side, Tiffany Stratton, Zoe Stark, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven. And again, I neglected to talk about that match. Piper Niven showed up and showed out amazingly against Bayley. What a match for the women's title over on SmackDown. Awesome match, definitely 5-star. Awesome to see it. Piper showing off what she can do in that ring. And like Paul said, it's definitely going to be, they need to capitalize on this because she showed what she can do in that ring with the champ. And she definitely deserves to be on that upper echelon of being in the title picture and being in the title discussion. Kiana James over on Raw. A hot debut after being drafted from NXT. She looks amazing. She's been looking amazing. She was great in NXT. Already great on being booked well on Raw. But a lot of people are very, very much. This Money in the Bank is open. It's hard to tell. Our pick was LA Knight and Tiffany Stratton, men's and women's respectively. LA Knight's kind of a weird pick right now because obviously he's probably going to win the belt off of Logan Paul for the U.S. title over at SummerSlam in Cleveland. But it's not the first time someone's had a championship and held the belt and held the briefcase at the same time. So it's hard to tell. I don't like to change my picks. I don't like to, wish wash because obviously, I mean, we try to make it very early, but also creatively. If you look, LA Knight might not be the strongest pick right now. I personally don't think Jey Uso needs the briefcase. I think obviously it's something that would be amazing for him to have, but I just feel like that would just be every single week as he cashing in, cashing in, cashing in. The point of that is look what happened with the Drew and the Punk thing when he finally cashed. You kind of actually forgot about Damian Priest. Uso is constantly going to be talked about every single week as he cash it in. Um, Obviously, being linked to the bloodline as well, things that are going on over on SmackDown. So that's going to be interesting to see who we get. So we're going to talk about a little bit next week. We talk about AEW Forbidden Door. AEW's got a lot of stuff going on over there as well. This upcoming week, MJF is back in action against Roosh over on Dynamite. Obviously, in 2 weeks, you have Swerve and Will Ospreay, champion for champion, going for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship as well. So that pay-per-view is turning out to be something really good as well. We'll talk about that. We'll do our predictions next week as well. But yeah, Money in the Bank, that's going to be an awesome. I think it's up in the air right now. For women, I do think Tiffany Stratton is going to be your women's Money in the Bank. It makes sense. She obviously has a little more growing to do. It looks like she's kind of stalemated herself in the title picture. Get the briefcase, make it make sense for her where she can cash it in somewhere down the road. Maybe even at WrestleMania, depending on what happens. So with that being said, we've talked about the PLEs, we've talked about the pay-per-views. Let's talk about one of the biggest things and people being talked about right now on this Monday is the Uncle Howdy debut on Monday Night Raw tonight. All signs have pointed to June 17th, and we're here. We're ready to go. The only question is really, how are they going to debut? Is it going to be a vignette? Are they going to be there in person? Is it going to be just Uncle Howdy? Will there be shadows up somewhere on the scaffolding? Will it be where they did a while back with The Fiend when they had the characters coming to life when Bray first came back? And you had will it be different characters? Things like that. So again, last that I've heard, obviously we've all heard pretty much Uncle Howdy, obviously being Bo Dallas, Nikki Cross, Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, Eric Rowan are definitely solid locks in for the group. The big wild card that everyone keeps talking about is Alexa Bliss going to be a silent partner in all this? There is a veiled woman in a lot of them. Now, if you go through the QR codes, if you put them all together, I went and I took all the QR codes from start to finish, and it does definitely tell a story. A really cool story. To see them all back to back to back to back and watch everything and to read the journal as the entries go. They do show the picture of the young lady in the veil. It does look like Nikki Cross. It looks a little too big to be Alexa Bliss, just build-wise. Unless Alexa put on a lot of muscle since she's had, her baby and been out. But is she maybe just a shot caller? Maybe is she Uncle Howdy's right hand? Because obviously that's what she was for the Fiend and for Bray Wyatt originally in that when he was first became the Fiend. So that's going to be interesting to see too. And WWE is dealing right now. They have deals with Noah, AJ Styles going over there, Marigold. Like Triple H is cooking right now. I know you got the Forbidden Door in AEW, but I feel like everyone else that isn't doing things with AEW are now working with WWE. It is such an amazing, amazing time right now to be a wrestling fan. I'm telling you, all the products are awesome. TNA, Noah, WWE, AEW. Ring of Honor, when they do showcase here and there. I feel like, it's sad to say, I feel like Ring of Honor is kind of just dying out. I'm waiting for all their titles to kind of get unified. I feel like that was bought for library purposes. Unfortunately, I wish Tony could have let WWE kind of buy that and done something with it. But that being said, a lot of stuff coming up. NXT is going to be amazing. It's going to be great to see who's in that Battle Royal tomorrow. Definitely some talent from TNA are going to show up. If it's anything crazy, we're definitely going to do a special edition episode right here on YouTube following NXT, talking about who showed up, who won, and what's going to be next for Trick Williams. Obviously, Roxanne's going to be there tomorrow night as well, talking about who her next challenge is going to be. It looks like it's a very, very loaded list, very loaded line after her. So that's going to be great to see as well. AEW looks stacked as well. TNA should be great with the fall from Against All Odds. So again, a lot to talk about, a lot to cover. So I appreciate you guys joining me. It's going to be a great week. If you're watching us here on YouTube and you haven't yet, do it. Please subscribe. Shoot us a like. Shoot us a subscribe. Last time I checked, about 89% of people who are watching this aren't subscribed. We really appreciate it. Weekly shows, special editions when cool things are happening in any of the brands. Also, if you are around Saturdays at 6 o'clock, feel free to catch us on the Block 105 and on SoCal Radio, also on Live 365 app on the radio. And as always, you can always catch us on Instagram and on X. Join the 16,000 strong that are already following us. And that's all at Chairshot Sports. And any questions and want to get involved in the show, shoot us an email, chairshotsports@gmail.com. So with that being said, guys, I'm John Anthony. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon.